Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk to you about how to plan a trip for 3 weeks or more. If you don't know, I'm Mari and I make travel videos, and if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. I do mostly backpacking or budget travel, so this video will be especially helpful if that's the kind of travel you like to do. There's a huge spectrum of styles of travel people like to do. So there are some people who they like everything planned. Maybe they are going to do a group tour that's already planned for them, and that's one extreme. And then I feel like the other extreme is just someone who doesn't plan anything at all and then they just do everything on a whim. I find myself somewhere in the middle. I like to plan some things, but then leave a lot of other things open so that I can just kind of choose as I go. And it just depends what kind of traveler you are as to what is gonna feel right to you. So the reason why I'm doing 3 weeks or more is because I feel like when you have 3 weeks, that's really enough time to give you room not to plan everything. Because if you only have a week, you really wanna make sure you're maximizing your experience there and you don't wanna spend all your time like researching or figuring out where to go next or all that. It's kind of nicer to plan that beforehand and you don't have to worry once you're there. But if you're going for a longer trip and you have time and there's no rush, then I feel like my best tip is like don't plan too much to start with. You never know when you're gonna meet someone that's gonna give you an awesome suggestion of a thing to do or a place to visit, or like when you just decide you don't like a place at all and you don't want to be there anymore and you want to move on. Most of these tips are going to be especially good if you're traveling solo, because it really leaves it up to you to do whatever you feel. If you're traveling with people, I think a really good thing before you start traveling is make sure you're kind of on the same page with this kind of stuff, because if one person is like an extreme planner and the other person is like a non-planner at all, maybe the non-planner is okay with the extreme planner planning everything, but if they're like, they really don't like that, then you're just gonna clash. It's not gonna work. So kind of make sure you're on the same page to start with. So yeah, this is how I book most of my longer term trips. First of all, do some research. If you have your destination in mind, look up the time of year that you want to go and make sure it's not going to be like a super busy time of year, or like look at any festivals that are going on. When I did my like first backpacking through Europe trip, the one thing that I knew I really wanted to do was go to Oktoberfest in Munich. So I booked accommodation for that like way in advance, because from doing research I found that it filled up really quickly. So do some research and see if there's anything that's like happening during the time you're there, and then kind of plan your trip accordingly. Also very important, make sure to look up any visas that you might need and those kind of things. I have a whole video about 14 things to do before international travel that will be helpful. So make sure you do kind of all the like main important things. Time of year is also really important. For example, in some countries in Southeast Asia, some times of the year are known as monsoon season. Depending what you want, you might not want to go during that time. Or you might, because accommodation will be a lot cheaper. I don't know. It's up to you. Europe in the summer is very busy, but if you go in the fall or the spring, it's gonna be less busy and you'll have more flexibility. So if you go somewhere when it's super busy, you're going to have to book more things in advance, because you won't be able to just show up at an accommodation and be like, hey, I want a room. If you go during a little bit less busy time, or the shoulder season as they call it, which is like right before or after the busiest season, then the weather is usually still pretty good, and then you'll have more flexibility because there won't be as many people there. So that's something to consider, but you won't know that unless you do some research on the place you're going. So do that first, kind of figure out when you want to go, figure out where you want to go, general ideas, and then kind of you can plan the rest of your trip around that. Next is book your main flights. Again, it depends where you're going. If you're going overseas and you know flights are expensive, booking your flights is a great place to start. You don't have to book your flights as early as you think. Like maybe it doesn't have to be months in advance. 4 to 6 weeks is a lot of times what they say. I don't know who they say, but I've had that experience. I don't think usually you have to book like too far in advance, unless it's like a holiday time, like if it's around Christmas, New Year's, then book far in advance, because those times are busy. So how do you know if you're getting a good deal? What I do, when I first get the idea of I want to go somewhere, I'll start looking up some flights and just to get an idea of the range of different flight options. I like to use Google Flights. They have like the whole like calendar view where you can look for like every month and like see the flights for each day. So I'll like look at that, look through a few months, and kind of just get an idea of how much it will cost to go to this location. Now, if you're flexible, then you can just search like a whole region or a whole place. And there's other search engines that do that as well, like Skyscanner you can put in everywhere and it will just show you like cheapest flights. When I went to Europe, I got the cheapest one-way flight that I could find. That was to Copenhagen, and then I knew like the last place I was going to be on the trip was Paris, so I booked the flight home from Paris. I like to do one-way flights because when you only have 3 weeks, that means you don't have to like double back to where you started. And if you're flexible with your locations, then just book wherever is the cheapest. Sometimes it is much cheaper getting a round-trip ticket, so you really just check out the prices. Some people really suggest that when you look up flights, look in incognito mode. If you're using Chrome, because apparently when you look up flights, it stores your cookies, and then the next time you look up the flight, they may just tell you a higher number because they know you really want to go to that place. I don't know, use your own judgment, but just thought I'd tell you in case. If you're going for like months, then book your flight there. I don't think you need to worry about booking your flight back yet. Again, 4 to 6 weeks before a big flight is a good window, unless it's a busy time of year. So don't worry too much. But yeah, the only way you'll know if it's a good deal or not is if you kind of keep your eye out on flights and see what the trends are. After you book your main flight, if you know you're going to be flying between some places on your trip, you might want to book those flights or maybe some train travel. Or if you're going to be renting a car, then you should probably rent your car sooner than later because those kind of prices do go up as you get closer. When I did the 3-week Europe trip, I went to a lot of different cities. I did book at least one flight beforehand between cities that I knew I was going to because I saw a really good deal. But like train tickets and stuff, I would just wait till I was in the city and knew when I wanted to leave before I booked those. When I was in Vietnam, I just booked everything as I went along. I didn't pre-book any of the travel between cities. Just because there it's really easy to just book a bus or book a flight. The prices don't vary that much. Again, just having that bit of research beforehand to know if it's a place that's going to be easy to book as you go along, or is it going to be hard to book things as you go along. That's just something that's useful to know. The next thing is you'll want to book some accommodations. So what I like to do is I have my plane ticket there. I know where I'm going to be the first few days. I book my place to stay for at least probably the first 2 nights. Depending on what time you arrive on the plane or train or whatever, book accordingly. So if you get in like really late at night, you probably don't want to be traveling too far to your accommodation. If you're a solo traveler, you especially might not want to be traveling too much like late at night by yourself. If you're on a budget, sometimes buses don't run at night. So you might want to just pick a place to stay that's like really close to the airport and then the next day move to somewhere that's closer in the city. For me, a location is very important. So I just really make sure I look at the location and make sure there's like an easy-ish route to get there. So I'll book my first places I want to stay, and then if I've already bought my flight home, sometimes I'll book the place to stay like right before my flight as well, just so I have that kind of like, you know, it's like kind of like the cornerstones of your trip. Like you don't have to worry about like the beginning or the end. And then you just have the middle that's exciting and you can make up as you go along. But then it also depends, of course, if it's a really busy time of year, you're going to want to book more stuff early. So I book those in advance, and then the rest usually I'll just book as I go along. I like to get recommendations from other people. And a lot of times too, even if I know I'm going to be in a place for like 5 days, I might just book the first 2 nights. I don't know, sometimes you don't know if it's going to be good or not, and sometimes it's kind of cool to like experience one part of the city and then go to another part of the city and experience something new. And that's another reason why it's good to leave things open and flexible, because you just don't know. Like for example, when I went to Berlin, I originally was just gonna stay there 2 nights, and then I loved it so much. I thought it was so cool that I ended up moving to another hostel and then staying another 3 nights. I was so glad that I hadn't pre-booked anything right after that. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to stay. Alternatively, I've gone to a place before that I thought maybe I'd stay a few days, and then I ended up just really not liking it, so I only stayed 1 night, and then I was like, I'm getting out of here. It's nice to be able to just have the freedom while you're traveling to stay longer in a place you love, and then leave if it's a place you don't love. Another thing that's helpful to do while you're preparing is semi-plan a route. So yeah, you don't have to plan everything, but kind of know some key places that you might want to go, or some cities that you really want to make sure you don't miss, and kind of just get like an idea, look at the map and be like, would it make sense if I went here and then here and then here and here? Or like, does it make sense if I like go around in a circle? Like, just kind of have an idea of what you want to do. And I think the reason to do this, especially if you're on a 3-week trip or less, is that you just don't want to spend your whole trip researching. You don't want to like just be having these moments of like, where am I going? What am I doing? Like, and then spending all your time researching the next place. Because when you're in a place, you want to experience being in that place. You want to experience the present. You don't want to be thinking about the future. Just, I think at least, travel is about being in the moment and being in the present. So the less time you can spend thinking about the future is better. So have some general knowledge before you kind of set out on your trip. Other things you can do that kind of go along with this: read a book about the place that you're going. I found this really helpful. Feels like you're preparing for your trip, but it's not the same as like just spending hours researching online. It gives you kind of a different perspective. If you read like a historical fiction book or non-fiction book, it gives you more context of the place you're going. If you don't have time to read it beforehand, while you're there is also a really cool way. It just kind of enriches your experience a little bit more. Another useful thing I think is to learn some key words and phrases if you're going to be somewhere they're speaking a different language. If you're traveling around Europe and you're going to a bunch of different countries and they speak all these different languages, yet like I don't expect that you're gonna know all these different languages, but at least like maybe in a notebook or something, like writing down key words and phrases of each place you're going. I always recommend writing the phonetics as well, so you kind of remember how it's pronounced. Try to know at least like hello, goodbye, thank you, because all of a sudden you're going to get off the plane and then be interacting with people, and you want to be polite and say things in their language. And then last but not least, packing. So people always want to know what to pack. This is one thing that before I really started traveling, I spent so much time researching, like way too much time. So my biggest advice would be, don't spend too much time overthinking what to pack, because it's not till you're really there that I feel like you're really gonna know what you want to wear anyway. Don't overpack too much. That's the other main thing. Do not overpack. If you're traveling around, especially for a long time, like carrying a really heavy backpack or like a really large suitcase is just burdensome, and you're just gonna be annoyed with it. Like the saying goes, bring twice the amount of money and half the clothes that you think. The cool thing about traveling is that actually, like wherever you go, you can buy stuff there. Crazy idea, I know. I always like to remind people that wherever you're going, other people live there, and that's their normal life, and they buy everything they need day-to-day life where they are. So that means you can also buy whatever you may need day-to-day life there. Now, some brands might be different, some things might be a little different. So if there's something, a particular brand you really love that you have to have, like then bring it. Or for example, like shoes, I have a really hard time finding shoes that fit my feet, so I make sure I bring enough shoes that my feet are happy, because I like walking around a lot. But clothing, I think you can pick up stuff along the way and then you have cool souvenirs. Before I went to Thailand for the first time, I spent so much time thinking about my clothing and what's the perfect type of clothes to bring. I was like, oh, I need some pants that are like really light and airy, but like I can wear them on long buses and planes and stuff. And I like spent all this time researching this stuff, and then I realized you get there and then you can buy all of that stuff there, and it's so much cheaper. Yeah, I feel like don't worry too much. Layering is a really good option, so bring, you know, different pieces that you can layer and kind of interchange. Just don't stress too much about the packing and bring less than you think. Okay, so those are my basics for planning a trip of around 3 weeks or longer. Leaving room for spontaneity is one of the best things you can do, because you just don't know what you're gonna wanna do or who you'll meet. So many things that can happen while you're traveling, and you yourself will grow and you'll experience new things, and your mind might change about different stuff. So keep it open if you can. Book something so you're not stressed the whole time. It's all about balance. In the end, just keep an open mind and remain positive, and even if little things go wrong, or even if stuff you planned doesn't go right, that's okay. It will all end up working out, and it's all part of the travel experience. Because the thing is, yeah, you can book a whole trip, but then like maybe you miss one flight and then it tumbles down like all these things get unplanned, so you never know. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. That's the piece of wisdom that I'm gonna leave you with. Alright, hope this was helpful to you, and if you liked it, then give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! And don't forget to subscribe. Woo, woo, woo. Happy travels!